Hello everybody, it's Dark Shredder 11 back here again. Today, as you can see, we're continuing with some Minecraft stuff, and I wanted to show something really interesting that I've been working on. And you already know what it is because you clicked on the video with the title of what's going on, but it's essentially a torch bow, and what that means is it's a bow that fires torches. Now, of course, this won't be useful in all situations, but if you've ever played the map Ragecraft, you'll know how amazing it would be just to be able to, like, not even have to spawn any monsters, just to shoot this right at all the spawners, and you would never have to deal with anything. Of course, it wouldn't be Ragecraft anymore, but I'm just saying there are some interesting things this could be used for that make the game a whole lot easier. I'm just going to set the weather to clear. I also have this other item in my inventory here. It's something else I've been working on, but I'm not going to be showing it off in this video because I want to make this as quick as possible and make sure I don't lose anything like the last attempt I finished recording at this video last night. So essentially, from this command block to this command block, anything between those is all for this torch bow. And I'm going to be looking through all the commands and explaining what they do so that people that make maps or just want to enhance survival can alter it and do something interesting with it. So I'll also be leaving the commands in the description of the video if you guys want to, if you guys don't want to have to actually copy and type everything out. You'll just be able to copy and paste it and then alter the commands as you wish. But this is just something interesting I thought would be cool in Minecraft. So yeah, I'll be showing that off today. So I'm going to start with this long chain of command blocks here because it's pretty much the main focus of what everything is. Sorry, I have a bit of a cough today. Okay. So, essentially what this one does is it tags any player with a LightBow tag, and it only tags them with that tag if they're holding a bow that has the tag LightBow 1B. Now I will explain how to get that after if you don't already know. I'll have the command to give you that bow after as well. And then also to get the LightBow tag, you must also have a torch in your offhand slot, because if you didn't notice earlier while I was firing this, it actually consumes torches for you to use it, which is one of the more recent and complicated features that I had to work on. Okay. Then I'm just going to execute from any player who has the LightBow tag. So then I'm going to use entitydata, the entitydata command, from that player for on any arrow that has a tag of new, which I will get into in just a second, and it will give that arrow a tag of LightArrow. Okay, so now the new tag is altered by these, is it all these? Yeah, it's all these command blocks here. So any arrow, all arrows will be given the tag new when they first spawn, but once they hit the ground, the tag will be removed. The tag will also be removed if the arrow does a damage of 2.0, which is essentially a regular bow. And I'm going to explain more about that command block at the end here, because it's kind of important. Okay, so this is executed from any player who has a tag LightBow. It will tag any arrow that has the tag LightBow and does a damage of 3.0 or has power 1 enchantment on the bow, and it will tag it with a light arrow on the scoreboard objective. This is needed here and a few other places because it now has to it has to tag any arrows any light arrows that are on the ground with the OnGround tag. This is used so that it knows how to or when to place a torch and when to delete the arrow. I don't know how necessary this one is, but I ended up using it, so I would just recommend copying and pasting all of it because it all works well. This is tagging any light arrow, and it's adding the SpArrow tag, which just stands for special arrow. Okay, this is where things actually start to happen. It'll execute from any arrow that has the LightArrow tag, it'll detect in its current position if there's air of any type. I don't know if there's different types of airs, so I just put -1. Then it will clear the inventory of anybody who has the LightBow tag, but it won't clear their whole inventory. It'll only clear one torch with a data value of 0. Next, what we have is it executes from any player with the LightBow tag, and then it executes from that player. It executes another command on any arrow that is a light arrow, has a tag of OnGround, and a tag of SpArrow, and it'll set a torch block right in its current position. This one is kind of just a fun little particle effect I set up. It'll execute this from any light arrow, and it uses the particle explode right in its current position with these coordinates, kind of make it look like it has a smoke trail. The reason I used explode is just because none of the other particles work, and I'm assuming it has something to do with the numbers I used, but I'm not a particle command whiz, so I'm not even bother fixing that. You can change it if you guys really care. Then what I have is it'll kill any entity arrow that is on the ground, is a special arrow, is a light arrow, and is obviously type arrow. That's just to make sure the arrow disappears afterwards. And finally, executes from any arrow that is a light arrow, and it uses entitydata for any entity in a radius of 1, and lights them on fire for, I'm assuming that's 10 seconds or 10 ticks or something, but so yeah, those are the commands that are needed to end up summoning torches where your arrow hits, and just to make sure, this works perfectly fine with the regular arrows too, and if you switch to the torch bow, it doesn't like turn them into torches or anything. That was a bug I had at the very start of this. Though there is a bug where if you switch from the torch bow to a regular bow or any other item, it doesn't turn into a torch, but it will stay a flaming arrow. So I don't I'm not gonna bother trying to fix that right now. If I find a fix for it, I will possibly create an update for it in the description, but for now I don't really mind it. Okay, so now to explain this command block more in depth. The reason it's removing the damage, or removing the new tag from any arrow that's a regular arrow, is because it needs to be able to tell the difference between an arrow that's being fired from a normal bow and an arrow that's being fired from this torch bow, which has power 1, which means it does 3 damage. Now, if I didn't have that command block there, that arrow would have been a torch arrow, but it wouldn't have placed a torch. So essentially it would have been a flaming, smoking arrow that just sits on the ground, which is obviously not what we want. So to fix this, what I did is I made it, you're gonna have to repeat this command block a couple times. I had to make it so any arrow that doesn't do damage of 3, so is not from a power level 1 bow, is going to have this tag removed. Now, of course, that means you're never going to be able to use power 1 enchantment on regular bows. Now, there is a way to fix that. I just haven't bothered to do it yet. I might leave kind of a fix for it in the description, but I'm going to explain it right now. To fix that method, what you can do is you can give yourself an unachievable level of power on a bow. So let's just say power level 100, then you're going to calculate how much damage that does. Now to calculate the amount of damage one of these bows does is, a normal bow does 2 damage, power level 1 does 3 damage. And for every increment you go up from power level 1, increases by 0.5 damage. So that means you need to add 0.5 99 times, because there's 99 between power level 1 and power level 100. So you need to add power level, or 0.5 99 times to 3, and that should give you 51.5 damage, if I did that math correctly. So I believe it's somewhere here. Yeah, here it detects any arrow with a damage of 3.0. you would then just paste in, or wait, oh sorry, I blanked out. I forgot there's more you have to do. After you have the bow with that does a damage of 51.5, you would then add a scoreboard tag to it for that specific type of arrow, and then you would have to sorry, I'm just blanking out. Oh yeah, you'd have to detect any arrow that has that scoreboard tag, and then you can change its data value with the entitydata command. So let's say you want to do less damage than a regular bow. Let's say you wanted to do half a heart damage when it hits something, because it lights them on fire too. So then you would have to use the entity data on any entity that has whatever scoreboard tag you used, and change its damage value to 0.5. And you would still need to have this command block, however, it would allow you to use all types of bows. So you would have to repeat this command block for a no power level enchantment and all 5 power levels, so that any regular achievable bow in the game is going to have this removed. And you'll also need to remove it if you're, say, giving yourself higher level power enchantments for something like a map. Like if you wanted power level 6 for whatever reason, you're gonna need to remove any whatever damage that does, just to make sure that this is the only bow that is going to create a torch arrow. So that's pretty much the mechanism I have worked out for creating torch arrows. And yeah, if you guys want to see more cool command block stuff like this other item I've been working on here, Gusty Gale spell, which by the way is themed after Revali's Gale from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, then be sure to comment in the description and like the video if you enjoyed it. And yeah, I will see you guys later.